The Russian military has significantly accelerated the pace of its offensive against Ukraine. In addition to launching fierce attacks on Ukrainian defensive positions, strongholds, and towns on the front lines, it has also carried out intense bombings on military infrastructure in Kiev and other locations. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced that the Southern Group troops have fully taken control of Chasiv Yar in the Donetsk People's Republic, marking the Russian military's capture of a key node in this region and laying a solid foundation for accelerating the offensive in the next step. The battle in western Donetsk has seen a fundamental turning point, with Ukraine's defense system beginning to loosen. The next tough nut for the Russian military to crack will be Krasnohorivka. Moreover, the occupied areas beyond the 4 regions in eastern Ukraine will serve as important bargaining chips in negotiations. The short-term goal is to take control of the 4 eastern Ukrainian regions. The medium-term goal is to seize all areas on the east bank of the Dnieper River and make the remaining half of Ukraine remain neutral. To achieve these goals, Russia will intensify its offensive efforts to ensure that rapid breakthroughs on the battlefield can create conditions for a quick end to the conflict. Under the ruins of war-torn Krasnohorivka, the figures flashing through the mine tunnels and the deafening explosions on the ground interweave into the cruelest movement on the eastern Ukrainian battlefield. According to reports from Russian satellite network and other media, Russian assault teams have infiltrated into the center of Krasnohorivka through the mine tunnels in the city, reaching areas near important targets such as the railway station. It is learned that this time, the Russian assault teams have established 3 more strongholds south of the railway line. Together with the previously built ones, a total of 7 strongholds have been set up. Krasnohorivka, the logistics heart of eastern Ukraine where 6 expressways and 5 railways converge, is facing a pincer attack by Russian forces combining internal and external efforts. A large number of Ukrainian soldiers have taken refuge in the underground mine tunnel network. However, as the encirclement tightens, the Russian military will be able to find a way to crack the underground tunnel network. Multiple elite Russian assault teams successfully infiltrated into the urban area under the cover of night. These commandos split their units into small teams, equipped with light weapons, grenades, and suicide drones, to launch attacks on Ukrainian troops. The Russian military has deployed heavy firepower, with drones conducting round-the-clock reconnaissance around Krasnohorivka. Once an exposed target is found, they will guide missile or artillery bombardment. Public data shows that the Russian military launched a total of 6,297 drones in July, 14.7 times the figure for the same period in 2024, and most of them were Garand series drones. Similarly, in Krasnohorivka, the Russian military has also increased the deployment of drones to ensure 24/7 uninterrupted reconnaissance over the city. Any Ukrainian target detected will be subjected to guided fire strikes, while Russian reconnaissance strike integrated drones will attack immediately upon discovery. The Russian commandos entered Krasnohorivka and successfully established strongholds without the Ukrainian military being aware of it at all. Moreover, a large number of Russian drones are conducting reconnaissance around Krasnohorivka, while Ukraine has no corresponding drones to counter them. All these expose Ukraine's deficiencies in reconnaissance electronic equipment, anti-drone electronic devices, and the number of drones. Ukraine has invested a large number of drones and electronic equipment in Krasnohorivka, but they failed to play any role in actual combat, thus uncovering a major corruption case. On August 2nd, the State Bureau of Anti-Corruption of Ukraine reported that in a joint operation with the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, a large-scale corruption system involving members of parliament was discovered. The involved personnel profited from the procurement of drones and electronic warfare equipment. It is learned that the personnel responsible for procurement took kickbacks of up to 30% in the procurement contracts, and there was a huge gap between the number of drones purchased and the actual delivered quantity. This has seriously weakened the Ukrainian military's intelligence collection and attack capabilities, leading commanders to make misjudgments. In order to obtain kickbacks, corrupt elements purchased inferior electronic warfare equipment, resulting in a significant decline in the Ukrainian military's anti-drone capabilities, making it difficult to resist attacks from Russian Lancet loitering munitions and unable to detect the infiltration of Russian commandos. It is reported that about 110,000 Russian troops are besieging Krasnohorivka, and the commandos have entered the city center. Russian firepower is launching fierce bombings on Krasnohorivka. It is learned that in early 2025, NATO secretly dispatched hundreds of soldiers, disguised as mercenaries, to infiltrate Krasnohorivka. Due to the organized withdrawal of some Ukrainian troops, the specific number of besieged Ukrainian troops is difficult to accurately calculate. The corruption of Ukrainian procurement officials has led to a shortage of corresponding equipment, trapping these hundreds of NATO military advisors, who may really be buried here as a result. Russian Chief of the General Staff Gerasimov has personally gone to the front line to take command, gathering a large number of troops, artillery, and drones to prepare for the general offensive. Western military advisors are huddled in the basements of Krasnohorivka, listening to the sound of Russian unmanned combat vehicles crushing the rubble getting closer and closer. They may never have thought that it is not the Russian artillery fire that will eventually bury them, but the corruption of their Ukrainian allies.